Don't moan, it's only a week to go till Christmas. But it's that time of the week again. It's Friday, December the 18th. It's 8:30. It can only be. We're rolling sound. Ready for some action. Christmas festive action. Always go deaf in that ear doing that. It's back. We're back with the LA Cinema Film Quiz. I'll take off my Christmas hat. Trying to get a bit into the festive spirit. Hope you're all well. Good evening all. Welcome again to LA Cinema and the weekly cinema film quiz. Hope you've all had a good week. Hope you're all feeling a little bit festive and ready for the Christmas period. Thanks again for joining us for the regular quiz. We got the live chat window as we always do every week. Introduce yourselves. Let me know if you're a regular contestant with a quiz, or if you've played before, or if it's your first time. Give me a shout out and let me know where you're from within the UK or beyond. Good evening all. I'll announce in just a minute the format for tonight's quiz. It'll be the usual regular format consisting of 5 rounds, all comprising of 10 questions per round. We'll reveal the answers at the end. A total of 50 questions, all good fun to test your cinema knowledge. Everybody ready for me to reveal this evening's quiz questions? Okay, here they are in order. As I said, there'll be 10 questions per round. Round number 1 will be movie flops, films that have performed particularly badly and lost money at the box office. The second round, we're bringing it back yet again. I've put in brackets, not again. It's the movie taglines round. Round number 3, we're doing films about music, musicians, artists, performers, a film centered around the music scene. Round number 4, food and drink, famous scenes that feature food and drink in them. And the last round, this was a request, I think, from last week. We're doing the action star, big box office star back in the 80s and the 1990s. It's Hollywood star Bruce Willis for the last round. Evening, everyone. We've got Susan Chilcott, who's just introduced us herself. Hope you're well, Susan. Thanks for joining us again for the weekly LA Cinema Quiz. Okay, so before we start tonight's quiz, I was just going to go through some quick movie news for the week. Just some quick things that I've read on Google, various articles with film-related news. And then I was going to share with you the first film that I watched this week. There were 3 altogether this week. See if you know the films. And then we'll go with a quiz. 5 rounds, a total of 50 questions. Okay, so the film news for this week. You may remember several years ago, there was a spat on the set of Terminator Salvation. I think it was the DOP recorded the lead actor, whose name's completely gone out of my head, Christian Bale, having an argument with the DOP who kept walking across his line whilst he was trying to do the scene. Had something similar happen this week on the new Mission Impossible film with Tom Cruise. One of the crew members has leaked a tape of Cruise shouting and swearing on the set. Basically, a couple of the crew members broke COVID issues, COVID health and safety, and he's basically on the video basically telling them that if they break the rules again or do anything to jeopardize the production, they would be fired from the set. And I think you can find the video on YouTube. I did have a look at it. The other thing, sadly, somebody else, another actor's passed from the Star Wars universe. The man who played Boba Fett, Jeremy Bulloch. And funny enough, I know a guy who actually made a film with Jeremy Bulloch, a little indie film going back some years ago. And it's a good friend of his. So we lost Jeremy Bulloch, the man famous for playing the bounty hunter Boba Fett. And cinemas are reopening under tier 1 or 2 system in the UK by the UK government. Looks like many of the multiplexes and some of the independent chains will be opening as from tomorrow, so Saturday. And we've got a second big Hollywood blockbuster release in the form of Wonder Woman 1984, the sequel, which seems to be getting some quite positive reviews. So hopefully it will kickstart maybe the cinemas over the Christmas period. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. We'll see what happens. A couple more people have introduced themselves. Good to see you all. Thanks for joining us again. Okay, so my first film of the week. Okay. So this wasn't one I watched on a streaming service. I've been getting a bit into Ian Dury, the British singer-songwriter from the 70s, late 70s, and the early part of the 80s. He had quite a tragic life. Ian Dury was diagnosed with polio at a very young age. And I basically dug out this film about him that came out a couple of years ago. It's on Blu-ray. It's Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, featuring the actor Andy Serkis, playing Ian Dury himself, Naomi Harris, playing Ian Dury's wife, Olivia Williams, and Ray Winston. Sorry, Olivia Williams played his wife. Naomi Harris plays the love interest. I've been getting big into Ian Dury, listening a lot to his music during the lockdown. I was really looking forward to this film because I'd heard some good things about it, particularly Serkis's performance. I got to be honest, this film I was a little bit let down by. I'm not a huge fan of films, biographical films, particularly centered on musical performers. I always feel a documentary, normally for me, gives the performer a little bit more credence because you can have interviews with bandmates, ex-lovers, wives, that kind of thing. You get more of an insight. I felt a little bit with this one, it played a little bit too safe, particularly looking into Dury's life, his estranged relationship with his wife, his girlfriend on the side, his relationship with his son Baxter, who's now a performer like his dad. Andy Serkis, I felt, was really good in the role with Ian Dury, did a really good job. But for me, it was a little bit let down by some of the facts in the film weren't researched properly. There's a lot of false information in there regarding dates, things that happened in the past. And overall, I felt a little bit let down by this one. It's not bad by any means, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. It's worth a watch. It's a fine British film, but just not as good as I thought it would be. So we start the week with that one, a biopic on Ian Dury and the Blockheads, of course. Okay, so we got Susan, Shirley, Andy, Philip Rouse, Mr. Harlequin back, and Gail Bartlett, Gail and Co. from Southville in Bristol. Good evening all. Are you ready for this evening's quiz? 5 rounds as usual, 10 questions per round. Okay, we'll go with round number 1. The only thing I'll say, the usual thing, just don't write your answers in the chat window because we'll all see them. And the answers will be revealed all at the end. Here we go, round number 1. I think this was a suggestion from last week. Yeah, it was. We might have done this round before. It's movie flops. These are films that performed badly at the box office or all around when they were released, generally losing a lot of money, millions of dollars. Okay, so main bulk of these questions are going to give you a description of a film or a question in relation to a box office flop. 10 questions. Here we go. Question number 1. Name the 2005 sci-fi Top Gun-esque film that lost $96 million. It stars Jessica Biel and Jamie Foxx and is about 3 pilots who struggle to bring an artificial intelligence program under control before it initiates the next World War. I'd never heard of this film, I got to confess, until I was looking at questions for this round. Number one, I'm looking for a sci-fi film released in 2005. It lost $96 million. Stars Jessica Biel and Jamie Foxx. It's about three pilots who struggle to bring an artificial intelligence program under control before it initiates the next World War. Tell me the name of this box office flop from 2005. Here we go with question 2. 2 points on offer for this one. So I'm looking for 2 answers, a point for each, 2 points altogether. Here we go. Okay, name the American actor who plays the Lone Ranger in the 2013 movie of the same name. For a bonus point, name the Hollywood star who plays Native American Tonto. So 2 points on offer for this one. This was a film that lost a hell of a lot of money at the box office. And when it was released on DVD and so on, it lost $98 million. But name the American actor who plays the Lone Ranger in the 2013 movie of the same name. And for that bonus point, the Hollywood star who plays Native American Tonto. What are you all drinking this evening, guys and girls? I went a bit mad on the gin last night, so I'm just on a water, sober me up. Too much gin last night, and cider, bad concoction. Number 3, name the 2019 comic book remake of a 2004 film by Guillermo del Toro. It stars Stranger Things' David Harbour, plays the comic book hero, and it was purported to have lost $40 million at the box office. Okay, so we're looking for a comic book film for number 3. It's a 2004 remake of a Guillermo del Toro film. It stars Stranger Things' David Harbour. He plays the comic book hero, and it lost $40 million when released. It's a remake I've not seen. Came out not all that long ago. Came out last year. Number 4 now. Sorcerer is a 1977 box office failure about 4 men from different parts of the globe who agreed to risk their lives transporting gallons of explosives across a Latin American jungle. But name its American director, acclaimed for his work with films including The Exorcist and The French Connection. One of my favorite American directors made a really good film called The Sorcerer that was a box office flop in 1977. But name the filmmaker, the American director, whose other work has included The Exorcist and The French Connection. French Connection went on to win the Best Picture Oscar in the 1970s. I think it was 1971 or 2. Here we go, number 5. Which 2019 sci-fi action movie starring Will Smith and directed by Ang Lee lost $75 million at the box office? The film is about an over-the-hill hitman who faces off against a clone of himself. This one came out not all that long ago. It didn't get particularly good, favorable reviews, and it was a box office flop. But here's the question. A 2019 sci-fi action movie starring Will Smith, directed by Ang Lee, and it lost $75 million at the box office. The film is about an over-the-hill hitman who faces off against a clone of himself. But tell me the name of the film. Over halfway through, this is round number 1. 10 questions, of course. Name the British writer, comedian, and actor who plays Phileas Fogg and co-stars alongside Jackie Chan in 2004's Around the World in 80 Days which lost nearly $100 million. Another box office flop, but on this occasion, I'm looking for the British writer, comedian, and actor who plays Phileas Fogg and co-stars alongside Jackie Chan in 2004's Around the World in 80 Days. Tell me the name of the British personality. Here we go. Number 7 next. Looking for actor's name now. Name the US actor who plays superhero the Green Lantern in the box office flop of the same name, released in 2011. It lost $101 million worldwide. These are massive figures when you look at $100 million losses. A lot of money to lose on a film project. But this one, number 7, name the American actor who plays superhero the Green Lantern in the box office flop of the same name, released in 2011. It lost $101 million worldwide. Couple more left. Here we go. Round 1, box office failures. Again, there's 2 answers to this question, so a point for each, 2 points on offer. Here we go. Name the 2 American comedians who were conned by their ex-girlfriend to search for a runaway son in Ivan Reitman's box office 1997 flop, Father's Day. So I'm looking for 2 American comedian actors in a 1997 box office flop. It was called Father's Day. They're conned by their ex-girlfriend to search for a runaway son. 2 more questions left. We finished the round. Another film I've never seen, from 1980 now. Which Michael Cimino epic western from 1980 lost over $135 million and stars Chris Christopherson and Christopher Walken? I think I read an article this week stating that Christopher Walken is going to be in some sort of television project directed by Bristol-based comedian actor Stephen Merchant. Should be interesting to find out where it's being filmed. He's a character, Chris Walken. But here's the question again. Which Michael Cimino epic western from 1980 lost over $135 million and stars Chris Christopherson and Christopher Walken? Got a feeling it's on my shelf somewhere behind. Never seen it. It's a long old film. I think it clocks in at 3.5 hours. And now the final question, number 10. I'm looking for an actress for this one. Here's the question. Number 10. Name the American actress who plays a female pirate in 1995's box office failure, Cutthroat Island. Final question, number 10. Name the American actress who plays a female pirate in the 1995 box office failure, Cutthroat Island. So there you have it. That's round number 1. All 10 questions. If you need me to shout out any that you missed, not a problem. Just let me know the number of the question and I'll repeat them. So we've had 10 questions on box office failures, films that lost massive amounts of money worldwide at the box office and also when they were released for home entertainment. How did you fare for this round? Do you think you failed or do you think you answered many of these ones right? Any predicted scores for round number 1 of the 6th edition of the LA Cinema Quiz? How did you fare tonight? Quick swig of water. Yeah, as I said, if you need any repeating, just let me know which question. Not a problem. I can repeat them. How did you fare with your box office failures? It's this evening's first round. In a minute, we'll move over to round number 2, another 10 questions. Suzanne, the first one, saying number 10. Yeah, no problem. So question number 10 was name the American actress who plays a female pirate in 1995's box office failure, Cutthroat Island. So Cutthroat Island's the film. Matthew Modine was the male star, but who was his female co-star? Gail not so keen on this round. She's saying a 4-ish with a grumpy face. Amanda thinks she got 12 out of 12. Okay, find out later on. 12 would be a very good start. Full house. Shirley saying if I get more than 2, it will be a miracle. Tricky round, that one. I wouldn't know the first one, the 2005 sci-fi. Wouldn't have a clue on that one. Okay, you ready for number 2? We're going to bring back, we've done this a few times, the movie taglines, and I put in brackets, not again. Okay, so for this one, these are normally slogans or just a paragraph or 2 on a poster, or to promote a film or sum up a film to try and market or sell it. So I'm going to give you the tagline and I want you to tell me the film. And some of them I've given some clues to make it a little bit easier. Ready for number 1? Here we go. Movie taglines. Not again. A release from 1990 starring Jeff Daniels, Julian Sands and John Goodman. Here is the tagline. 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude. That is number 1. Bit of a clue, obviously, with the release date and the actors, the cast. Here we go again. Number 1 repeated. A release from 1990 starring Jeff Daniels, Julian Sands, and John Goodman. But here is the slogan. This is what was used on the poster or the publicity. 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude. Number 2 now. Here we go. This is an adored crime comedy from 1988. Sorry, 1998. Confusing you there. This is kind of a black comedy. People love it. It's really held, this film. But here is the slogan. Her life was in their hands. Now her toe is in the mail. I confess I'd never seen this film until about a couple of years ago. And a mate who's a big fan of this film took me along. And I did really enjoy it. It was a good laugh from beginning to end. Really good black comedy from 1998. But here is the slogan. Her life was in their hands. Now her toe is in the mail. That was a bad American voice. Number 3, I think you'll all get this one. Probably the easiest one of the round. Here we go. A Disney release from 1993. Here's the slogan. 1 dream, 4 Jamaicans, 20 below zero. You'll all get this one. A Disney release from the year 1993. This is the tagline. 1 dream, 4 Jamaicans, 20 below zero. Move on to number 4. Okay, a comedy sequel now from 1990. This is quite clever. Here's the slogan. Here they grow again. Here they grow again. The tagline for a comedy sequel from 1990. That is question number 4. We're halfway through. Number 5, I'm going to give you no clue whatsoever. A nice, easy one like number 3. I think you'll all get this one. I'll be surprised if you don't. Here's the slogan. An adventure 65 million years in the making. Excuse me. So number 5, an adventure 65 million years in the making. We'll move on to number 6. We're going back to the 90s now, the late 90s. and a box office smash from 1997. But here is the slogan: protecting the earth from the scum of the universe. It's quite a clever one. So number 6 again, a box office smash from 1997. That's the clue. Here is the tagline: protecting the earth from the scum of the universe. Moving on to 7 now. Here's the clue: a critically acclaimed and Best Picture winner. So this is a film that won the Best Picture Academy Award. Here is the slogan, another clever one: the list is life. The list is life, that's the slogan. The clue: a critically acclaimed and Best Picture winner. I think you'll all get that one. The director crops up in an earlier question. Here's number 8, science fiction now. How are you on your sci-fis? This is a science fiction classic from 1984. That's probably given it away already. But here is the slogan: the thing that won't die in the nightmare that won't end. These are great. I really do like these slogans. I wish I just had a job writing these all day. I think they're so clever. So the slogan: the thing that won't die in the nightmare that won't end. And the clue: a sci-fi classic from 1984. 2 to go. Number 9 next. A popular animation now made for the big screen. That's the clue. So I'm looking for a popular animation now made for the big screen, the cinema silver screen. Here's the tagline: see our family and feel better about yours. The tagline: see our family and feel better about yours. And it's a popular animation now converted for the big silver screen. Last one now, we move on to the final one. We're round number 2, the 10th and final question of the round. So the clue is a comedy drama from 1990 starring Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. Here is the strapline, the tagline: having a wonderful time, wish I were here. Okay, do that again. So the tagline is having a wonderful time, wish I were here. And the clue: a comedy drama released in 1990 starring Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. Taglines again for this week. I thought I'd put it in. I do always enjoy doing this round and kind of researching the questions. Any of you guys and girls need any repeating for this round at all? If so, just let me know which number and I'll shout them back out, not a problem. How did you fare with this one? Some people find the taglines tricky. A few harder ones in there this week, but I think the clues kind of give some of them away. Anyone quietly confident of a full house or not so confident this week on your movie taglines? Suzanne saying number 7. Yeah, no problem. Here's number 7 again. Okay, so the slogan, or should I say the tagline, is the list is life. And the clue is a critically acclaimed film and it won the Best Picture Oscar. I won't give the year, but it won Best Picture, an acclaimed film. The list is life. Anyone else need any others repeating before we move on? I was going to move on this week, not do round number 3 now, but just do my second film watch during the week. I watched 3 films this week, all I think on Blu-ray this week. No, one was on one of the streaming platform, 2 Blu-rays, one on Amazon Prime, which I'll reveal later, which was a documentary, which is quite fitting because it's a music documentary and we got a music round. Number 2, no problem. Number 2 for Mr. Harlequin. Here we go. I nearly read out the answer then. Here's the slogan. Her life was in their hands. Now her toe is in the mail. So her life was in their hands. Now her toe is in the mail. The clue is an adored crime comedy or a black comedy, and it was released in 1998. Anyone else need any other shouting out before we move on to the next film that I watched during the week? Okay, I'll go with the next film. Okay, so this is a Blu-ray I've had for some time. I've been meaning to watch this film for a good few years. Whenever Sight and Sound do their poll of the greatest films ever made, it's normally voted by film directors and various critics. This one normally always comes out within the top 5, and it seems to be slowly climbing the ladder within the last couple of years. Citizen Kane's always owned the top spot for probably the last 5 years. It was overtaken last year by Vertigo, and this film crept up to the number 3 spot. And I've heard various things about it. This is a BFI release, and excuse my pronunciation with the name of the filmmaker. His surname's Uzo. He's a famous Japanese filmmaker. Yasujiro Uzo, really acclaimed, and the film is Tokyo Story. It's a 1950s film, rated as a masterpiece of Japanese cinema, rated as one of the greatest films ever made. So this is about an old couple who visit their children and their grandchildren in Tokyo, but receive little attention during their visit. Sounds a kind of simple, mediocre story, but I put this on a couple of days ago. It's quite a long film for a 1950s movie. It's just over 2.25 hours. I found the first 45 minutes where the older couple visit Tokyo. They go on a train. They visit for a couple of days. I found the first 45 minutes really difficult. Nothing really happening. It's just pretty much an engagement of the characters, quite very dialogue heavy. And I must admit, first 40 minutes I was struggling, but after that I was pretty much hooked. I think anybody could relate to this film. It's pretty much a film about generations. It's about children moving on with their lives, moving away to get married, have children, busy with their careers, and kind of the parents feel alienated. And the whole film is kind of about choice, relationships, strained relationships. And this elderly couple feel that their children have grown apart from them, that they've changed, not particularly for the right reasons. They're not doing the careers that they necessarily felt they should be doing. And then at the end, there's a tragedy. I won't give away what happens. And that at the end, towards the end of the film, the family become sort of bonded again. Their relationship's better. It grows. There's more communication between them. And then all of a sudden that disappears when they have to leave and go back to their busy lives in the city of Tokyo again. I know this kind of film's not going to be to everyone's taste. Some people aren't particularly keen on international or subtitle films. But I have to say, this was a really great, simple movie and probably the best film I've watched this week. It's Tokyo Story. If you like films that are deemed as classics or masterpieces by critics alike, sit down and watch it, buy it. It's just a great film. Clever story, simple, but lots of messages and meaning. Tokyo Story. Third film this week's a documentary, but we'll move on to the next round. Anybody seen Tokyo Story? Really good film, highly recommended. Anybody can relate to it. Okay, third round. What is the third round? Films about music. So this was a recommendation. We're doing 10 questions on films that are about musicians, bands, particular times in music, maybe prolific albums. Here we go. Question number 1. 2 points on offer for this one, a point for each. And I'm looking for an actor and an actress. Here we go. Number 1. Name the actress who won the Oscar for her portrayal as Johnny Cash's wife, June Carter, in Walk the Line. But for the bonus point, name the acclaimed Oscar-winning actor who plays the man in black himself, Mr. Johnny Cash. Quite a more easier one, maybe to start off tonight's round for round number 3. Name the actress who won the Oscar for her portrayal of Johnny Cash's wife, June Carter, in Walk the Line. But for the extra bonus point, name the acclaimed Oscar-winning actor who plays the man in black. Remember seeing this one at the cinema. I can't remember the year. Was it 2008, something 9 maybe? Maybe earlier than that, to be honest. Here we go. Number 2, round 3, films about music. Here we go. Number 2. 2008's Cadillac Records is a biopic about which famous American record label, founded in 1950 by brothers Leonard and Phil, and famous for blues, soul, gospel, and early rock and roll. This is one of my favorite all-time music labels. I think it's so great, this label. A few of my favorite artists on this one. But here's the question. 2008's Cadillac Records is a biopic about which famous American record label. It was founded in 1950 by brothers Leonard and Phil, and famous for blues, soul, gospel, and early rock and roll. Prolific label. Could give you some clues and name some artists on it. Here we go, number 3 now. Name the 2014 film about a promising drummer who enrolls at a cutthroat music school where he's mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential. This is a fairly recent film, about 6 years old. It was released in 2014. It's about a promising drummer who enrolls in a cutthroat music school. He's mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential. But tell me the name of this 2014 release. Here we go. We move from fiction to documentary to fact. For number 4, question 4. Same year. Name the acclaimed 2014 documentary on musician Nick Cave, which has the number of days he has been on planet Earth in the title of the film. It's a bit of a trickier question. You know it straight away if you're a Nick Cave fan. Here we go again. Name the acclaimed 2014 documentary on musician Nick Cave, which has the number of days he has been on planet Earth in the title. Okay, we're going to move on to a British film next from 1998. For number 5, here we go. Name the 1998 British comedy about a shy lady who was convinced by an invisible entity to sing and is later spotted by a sleazy talent scout. The film stars Jane Horrocks, Michael Caine, bad impression, Ewan McGregor, and Brenda Blethyn. So number 5 again. I'm looking for a 1998 British comedy. It's about a shy lady who was convinced by an invisible entity to sing and is later spotted by a sleazy talent scout. The film stars Jane Horrocks, Michael Caine, Ewan McGregor, and Brenda Blethyn. Tell me the name of the film. Came out in the late 90s, got some good acclaim from critics alike. I think it did quite well at the box office. So we move from fiction to fact with another documentary question for number 6. Don't Look Back is a famous D.A. Penbaker documentary in 1967 about which iconic singer and songwriter? Yeah, no problem, Gail. I'll do two again at the end of the round, no problem. So I'm looking for a famous, mega famous, iconic singer and songwriter. He's the center of attention and the focus for Don't Look Back, a D.A. Penbaker music documentary from 1967. But who is he? Number 7's a trickier one, a film I've never seen. Again, a documentary film on music. Here we go. Which 1972 unreleased and controversial Rolling Stones documentary is about their 1972 North America tour and shows the band making some of their best music, taking drugs in hotel rooms, and other weird goings on? I got a feeling that this film, the Stones wanted to not put out. They wanted it not banned, but they just wanted it to disappear. I think it can only be shown if the filmmaker's present at the time for public showings. You can get it on various bootlegs. I've got a copy somewhere. But which 1972 unreleased and controversial Rolling Stones documentary is about their 1972 North America tour? It shows the band making some of their best music, taking drugs in hotel rooms, and other weird goings on. That one is number 7. Number 8, a famous music documentary now. Which famous 1969 music festival is documented in an Oscar-winning documentary for 1970? It features performances from Joan Baez, The Who, and Jimi Hendrix. I think you'll all get this one. Such a famous music festival, well documented. I expect many of you have seen it. Maybe some of you were there. Famous 1969 music festival documented in an Oscar-winning documentary from 1970. It features performances from The Who, Joan Baez, and Jimi Hendrix. That is number 8. Number 9, we go from an American question to a British one about music. Here we go. Number 9. Which late British frontman of Joy Division and played by actor Sam Riley is the focus of a 2007 musical biography called Control? So this is a late singer who died tragically very young. His name was, let me start again. Which late British frontman of Joy Division and played by actor Sam Riley is the focus of a 2007 music biographical film called Control? Not seen the film, I've heard good things about it. Here we go, number 10. Forrest Whitaker plays which troubled jazz saxophonist in a Clint Eastwood directed film called Bird from 1988? So last question on jazz, the jazz music genre. How are you on your jazz? Here we go. Forrest Whitaker plays which troubled jazz saxophonist in a Clint Eastwood directed film called Bird from 1988. Bird's a big clue because that was the musician's nickname, famous. Okay, so Gail's saying she wanted number 2 again. We're on round number 3. Yeah, number 2. I'm looking for a record label. Here we go. 2008's Cadillac Records is a biopic about which famous American record label founded in 1950 by brothers Leonard and Phil, and famous for blues, soul, gospel, and early rock and roll. So I'm looking for a famous American label. It was founded in 1950 by brothers Leonard and Phil, famous for blues, soul, gospel, and early rock and roll. Okay, anyone else need any more? Yeah, Suzanne asking for 9 and 10, not a problem. Okay, firstly, number 9. Which late British frontman of Joy Division and played by actor Sam Riley is the focus of a 2007 musical biographical film called Control? And lastly, number 10, Forrest Whitaker plays which troubled jazz saxophonist in a Clint Eastwood directed film called Bird from 1988? Mr. Harlequin asking for question number 4, no problem. What was number 4? Okay, number 4 was name the acclaimed 2014 documentary on musician Nick Cave, which has the number of days he has been on planet Earth in the title. So the first part of the title has got a figure, a number. That's a little bit of a clue for you. Tricky question, that one. So this was a recommendation from last week, this round on music. How did you get on? You quietly confident? Do you know your music, your artists, your music history? You're top of the class tonight? Or do you think you're down at the bottom? How did you fare? How did you enjoy this round, or maybe not so keen? In a minute, we'll move on to the 4th round, a bit of a different one for this week. It's food and drink, famous scenes in movies, movie history, featuring food and drink, a bit of an unusual one, a bit different. And then I'll talk about the last film I watched during the week, which is a music documentary, kind of fit in for this round. I've got to remember the exact title, so I might do my IMDb in a minute. I think I'm pretty sure what it was, but I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, how did you get on with that round, everyone? Got it. Okay, everybody ready for food and drink? 10 questions on this round. Suzanne, is that asking for number 6 to be repeated, or is that you think you got 6 correct? Gail saying 5-ish, so about half the questions. We'll move on to food and drink, which is tonight's round 4. 7 or 8 with a tailwind. I like that. It's a bit of a wind out there tonight in Bristol. Last night I went out to the bins to put some stuff out, and it was really blowing a gale. It was terrible out there. The bins were blowing everywhere. I thought a storm was brewing. Here we go, food and drink. Number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe a scene in a film that involves food and drink, a scenario, and I just need you to tell me simply the name of the film, if only it was that simple. Okay. Bikey Chick, good to see you. I thought you may not be here this evening. I remember you saying you might not be able to take part this week. Thanks a lot. Good to see you. I think maybe a 10 on that round. Be a good score. Okay, this is kind of a little bit different. Food and drink. Change of plans. What were you originally doing? No, thanks for joining. Good to see you, as always. Number 1, an overcooked steak ignites boxer Jake LaMotta's wrath in which Martin Scorsese movie? Taking part in a family quiz. Nice, easy one to start with, food and drink. Here it is. Here's the scenario. An overcooked steak ignites boxer Jake LaMotta's wrath in which Martin Scorsese movie? Nice, simple one to start. Number 2. Woody Allen and Diane Keaton's calamitous attempt to boil a lobster in a Best Picture winner released in 1977. And I'm ashamed to say this film I've never seen. I like Woody Allen a lot, never seen this movie, which is kind of a shame to admit that. Such a famous film. Number 2 again, food and drink. Here is the scenario. This is what happens. Woody Allen and Diane Keaton's calamitous attempt to boil a lobster in a Best Picture winner, released in 1977. Moving on to number 3. This, I'd have to say, is one of my all-time favorite movies. Here's the scenario. A young boy trading a white cake pastry topped with whipped cream and a cherry for sexual favors in Sergio Leone's gangster epic. It's a beautiful scene, this one. It's really funny. But here's the scenario. A food-related question. A young boy trading a white cake pastry topped with whipped cream and a cherry for sexual favors in Sergio Leone's gangster epic. Tell me the name of the film. Number 4 is a nice and simple one. Here it is. A $5 shake chosen by Mia Wallace at Jack Rabbit Slim's restaurant. You'll all get this one. I'd be surprised if anyone gets this one wrong. But number 4, a $5 shake chosen by Mia Wallace at Jack Rabbit Slim's restaurant. That is number 4. Number 5, we move on to an iconic food-related scene in a classic movie, but here it is. Number 5. 50 hard-boiled eggs eaten in 1 hour by a topless convict. Yeah, no problem. I can repeat number 1 at the end. Not a problem, Gail. Okay, so number 5 again. 50 hard-boiled eggs eaten in 1 hour by a topless convict. Such an iconic scene, that one. Great actor as well. Number 6, a little bit more tricky, this one. See how you get on. Villainous sister serves her wheel-bound sister a rat for lunch. Number 6 again. A villainous sister serves her wheel-bound sister a rat for lunch. Number 7 now. Here we go. Food and drink. Getting towards the end of the quiz. This one's round number 4. Number 7. A gross out eating scene where a famous late comedian decides to tackle an old 96er, a 96-ounce primed aged beefsteak inspired by Paul Bunyan's Blue Ox. Tricky one, that one. I nearly mispronounced the question as well. That would have been a little bit embarrassing, but here's number 7 again. A gross out eating scene where a famous late comedian decides to tackle an old 96er. That's a 96-ounce primed aged beefsteak inspired by Paul Bunyan's Blue Ox. But tell me the name of the comedy film. Number 8 now. Here's the scene, the scenario involving food and drink again. Drinking 5 raw eggs from a glass at 4 a.m. before one of his epic filly training runs, but eating like a heavyweight champion. And imagine you'll all get this one. Little bit of a simpler one on food and drink. But here we go again. Number 8. Drinking 5 raw eggs from a glass at 4 a.m. before one of his epic filly training runs, but eating like a heavyweight champion. What's the film? 2 more left. Round number 4. Here we go. Scenario number 4. Sorry, scenario number 9. The Parkers are left to take their dinner in an empty Chinese restaurant in this festive movie from 1983. If you tuned in last week, this was a film I mentioned, a Christmas movie. I said I really like it when we did the Christmas theme round. But here we are, number 9. The Parkers are left to take their dinner in an empty Chinese restaurant in this festive movie from 1983. And lastly, number 10, last question of tonight's round 4, final one. Here we go. A gruesome feast of snakes, monkey brains, and eyeball soup from an adventure movie from 1984. I'll repeat in just a minute. It's the last question of the round. Numero number 4. A gruesome feast of snakes, monkey brains, and eyeball soup from an adventure movie from 1984. But what is it? Somebody did want one repeat, and it was Gail. She wanted number 1 again. Yeah, no problem. Here's number 1 again. An overcooked steak ignites boxer Jake LaMotta's wrath in which Martin Scorsese directed movie. Okay, so that's all 10 questions for number 4. Let me know how you got on with that round. It was a couple of bits, sort of simpler ones in there, but there was a few tricky ones that would have stumped me. How did you get on? And let me know if you need any repeating at all. If you need any repeating. And we'll move on in just a minute to the last round. The last 10 questions, round number 5 it'll be, on the action box office Hollywood heavyweight. Bruce Willis is the final round tonight. And then at the end of the quiz, before we reveal the answers, a couple of topics for discussion. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on Bruce Willis as a box office action star. What you think of him as an actor? Do you think he's just more than just an action heavyweight? And also looking into next year, 2021, I wanted you to tell me your picks for the next year releases. Suzanne saying they got 6 for the last round, which was food and drink. Bikey Chick saying she likes a bit of Bruce Willis, a bit of Die Hard. Here we go. We'll go with the final round. Once I've done that, I'll tell you about my final film that I watched during the week. And I did mention it was a music documentary that I watched on a bit of advertising for them. Not that they need me to advertise for them, from Amazon Prime. Bikey Chick, quite confident, 9-ish. 9 would be a really good score. Okay, we'll move on to round number 5. Bruce Willis. Here we go. Starting with a Die Hard question. Somebody asked for this round last week. I think they're playing tonight. Was it one of the Rows? Was it Philip who asked for this one? Sure, somebody asked last week for this one. It was a recommendation, I remember. I've not done a round on Bruce Willis as yet. Here we go. Number 1. Name the character Bruce Willis plays in the Die Hard films. He was an NYPD officer. That's number 1. Bit of a nice and simple one to start off with. If you like your Bruce Willis movies, name the character Bruce Willis plays in the Die Hard films, who is an NYPD officer. That's question number 1. Yeah, I thought it was one of the roles. Andy, thanks for the recommendation. Number 2 now. Here we go. Which American director said he would never work with Willis again after calling the experience soul-crushing whilst directing the 2010 film Cop Out? I've seen the director comment about the experience. I think these two just didn't get on. There was creative clash of egos. So yeah, I'm looking for the American director who said he'd never work with Bruce Willis ever again. He called the whole experience soul crushing whilst directing the 2010 film Cop Out. But tell me the name of the director. Number 3, this film brings back memories. I was only a young kid when it came out. I remember it showing at a cinema, which is still here in Bristol, the Odeon. Always used to love looking at the posters outside. I don't know why. Very distinctive, some of these posters. The one that really stuck out for me as a young kid was RoboCop. Seeing that cyborg, part man, part machine. Just always loved walking past that cinema and seeing the posters. A little bit sad, but I remember this one. So name the romantic comedy from 1987, where Willis co-stars alongside Kim Basinger. The film is about a workaholic who needs a date for a dinner with a new important client. But he's set up by his brother, but it could lead to disaster. Tell me the name of the film. Number 3. Here we go again. Name the romantic comedy from 1987, where Willis co-stars alongside Kim Basinger. The film is about a workaholic who needs a date for a dinner with a new important client, but who his brother sets him up with could lead to disaster. Film from late 80s. And we move on to number 4. Still in the 1980s, same decade, same year. Willis received the Golden Globe Award for Best Performance by an actor in a television series, comedy or musical in 1987. But name the popular show he won the award, where he plays a smart detective managing a private detective agency. It's number 4. We go from cinema to television. A lot of these television serials these days so popular, made on massive budgets, like Game of Thrones, Mandalorian, of course. They kind of feel like cinema now. But here we go again. Number 4, Willis received the Golden Globe Award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series, Comedy or Musical in 1987. But name the popular show he won the award for, where he plays a smart detective managing a private detective agency. Number 5 now, 2 answers, so point for each, 2 points on offer for this one. Our final round of the evening. It's Bruce Willis. Here we go. Going to delve into Bruce's personal life. You won't be happy with me. Willis was married to which popular Hollywood actress from 1987 to 2000? But for a bonus point, name the model he married in 2009. First part, a little bit easier. The second, I'd say tricky. I wouldn't know the woman at all. But here we go. 5. Willis was married to which popular Hollywood actress from 1987 to 2000? But for the bonus point, name the model he married in 2009. Question number 6 as we move on. This could have really been one we could have chosen for the box office failures round. Here we go. Name the film Willis starred in 1991, which was slated by the critics, and it was a box office failure. It's about a cat burglar who was forced to steal a Da Vinci work of art from a world domination plot. This is a film I confess to never seeing. Never seen it. Came out in 1991, released. It was slated by critics and it was a box office failure. It's about a cat burglar who's forced to steal a Da Vinci work of art from a world domination plot. But tell me the name of the film. For number 7, I'm looking for the name of the actor for this one. Here we go. Willis plays a private detective protecting a female witness who was murdered, prompting him and the victim's boyfriend to investigate the crime in the film The Last Boy Scout. But name Willis's male co-star. Going to do something bad now. Have a swig of one of these energy drinks. My wife's always going on at me for drinking these monster drinks. I do like them, but they're so bad. It's probably worse than alcohol. Here we go again. Number 7. Willis plays a private detective protecting a female witness who was murdered, prompting him and the victim's boyfriend to investigate the crime in the film The Last Boy Scout. But name Willis's male co-star. That is number 7. A few more left to the end of this week's quiz. 6th week, I believe, during the second government lockdown, if you want to call it a lockdown. It's more of a tiered system now. Number 8. Willis co-stars with Brad Pitt in the 1996 science fiction film 12 Monkeys. But name the film's director, famous for his work with the Monty Python members. This was a decent film from the 90s. I remember seeing it when it was released, and a good director, very good, underrated director. But number 8, Willis co-stars with Brad Pitt in the 1996 sci-fi film 12 Monkeys. But name the film's director, famous for his work with the Monty Python members. 2 more left. Number 9 we move on to. Here we go. Willis plays a cab driver who becomes the central figure in the search for a legendary cosmic weapon in Luc Besson's The Fifth Element. But name the British actor Willis co-stars alongside, who plays the evil Zorg. If you tuned in last week, we did a round on this actor, a whole round dedicated to him, and he's a great actor. Here we go again. I'm looking for an actor, but Willis plays a cab driver who becomes the central figure in the search for the legendary cosmic weapon in Luc Besson's The Fifth Element. But name the British actor Willis co-stars alongside, who plays the evil Zorg. And the final one, question number 50, the last question tonight on Bruce Willis. I'm looking for the year now. Here we go. Number 10. Willis starred in the box office smash and critically acclaimed mystery drama The Sixth Sense. But what year was the film released? This is another film I confess to never seeing. I've heard so many things about what a clever plotline it was and a great twist at the end. Never seen this one. But Willis starred in the box office smash and critically acclaimed mystery drama The Sixth Sense. But I want you to tell me the name it was the year it was released. Okay, that's all 10 questions. Let me know how you fared for this round. How do you think you did? If you need any repeated, shouting out again, please let me know and I'll repeat them. Susan asking for number 3. Bruce Willis. Number 3. Here it is. Name the romantic comedy from 1987 where Willis co-stars alongside Kim Basinger. The film is about a workaholic who needs a date for a dinner with a new important client. But who his brother sets him up with could lead to disaster. Anyone else need any shouting out again for this particular round? If so, let me know. Not a problem. And then I'll go with my third film watched during the week. Want to ask you a couple of things on film topics, of course. And then I'll reveal the answers, all 50, from tonight's film quiz. Not suggesting around again. The hard ones, Andy, this one. I didn't choose particularly obvious Bruce Willis films, but going through his IMDb page, he's done loads of stuff, loads of films, loads of kind of things from Pulp Fiction to Heart's War, all sorts. I'm surprised that he's been a few box office failures. He was a big box office star in the 80s and 90s, one of the top draws of the US and UK box office, but he has been in a few box office failures that have struggled. Okay, so the last film I watched this week, we've already done a fictional take on Ian Dury, Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll. That was my first film I watched during the week, with Andy Serkis as Ian Dury. I was a little bit disappointed with this one. Fine film, but for me, nothing special. Then number 2 was the brilliant Tokyo Story, Japanese film from 1950s, hailed as one of the great masterpieces of cinema, and it was great. The third film, I haven't got an image, but last night I thought I fancy watching something musical, something not too taxing. I've been listening to a lot of music by The Police of late, putting on CDs. I quite like them as a band, to be honest. They've done some great pop. So I put on a documentary they did called Can't Stand Losing You. I was looking it up on IMDb a little bit earlier on. It was released in 2012. I watched this on Amazon Prime. I'm quite partial. I like the guitarist, Andy Summers. After he left The Police, he was predominantly a jazz guitarist. He wrote a good biography, which is rated as one of the top music biographies about his time on the road in The Police. And it's a good film. It centers around their reunion, which I think was in 2010 when the band got back and did various reunion tour around the world with all their greatest hits package. So it's about that. It's about the band becoming a smash band in the 1970s and 80s, became like the biggest band in the UK, really popular group. It's also about the frictions with members in the band, particularly with Sting, who they say wasn't a team man and wanted so desperately to be a solo performer, which he went on and did. But more interestingly, I found was kind of about Andy's career, how he got into music, because he became quite famous early on in various bands in the 60s. He moved to London, but he was in Eric Burdon's The Animals later on in his late 60s. They disbanded quite early, and he kind of was struggling, doing a lot of music tuition. And then all of a sudden, he got introduced to Stuart Copeland and Sting, who were in other bands. And then, bang, the Police were formed. But the good thing about the documentary, it went into his marriage. He ended up remarrying his wife. They divorced and got back together again. And he went on a big tour. And within something like 24 hours of him coming back, his first child was born, his daughter. He basically talks about not being able to ever see his children because his career came first, his love of music. He wanted to be on the road. And another thing that was fascinating in the documentary was he was big into film, 35mm photography. So he was always photographing things that went on. So if they went on a tour, he photographed the people, he photographed the band, reactions, locations, street art, graffiti, urban life, women he was knocking around with on the side, all sorts. But his photography is stunning. And it's a good docu. It's only like 90 minutes, and I enjoyed it. The music's good. The lives are interesting, and how these kind of egos have to function on stage. So if you like your music, check out Bit of the Police, Can't Stand Losing You documentary. That's my third film watch this week, a docu. Okay, so the things I was going to ask you, all a couple of little topics for conversation. Bruce Willis, big action star. As mentioned earlier on, he was a big box office hit in the 80s and 90s, very popular. Do you like Willis? What do you think of him, his star credibility? And do you think he's got more range than just being an action star, for example? In fairness, he's been in films like Pulp Fiction, which has kind of tested his acting skills a little bit more. What's your take on Bruce Willis? Andy's obviously a bit of a fan, recommending the round. What do you think? I've got an opinion, but I was going to leave that till last. Bruce Willis, what do you think of him? A lot of people love Die Hard. It's always kind of coined as a Christmas movie. Love him. Bikey Chick saying no range. Best film, Last Boy Scout, which was a question. Any films people want to highlight? Sixth Sense I've never seen. Pulp Fiction is outstanding, though I haven't seen it for 20 odd years. What else has he done? A lot of people like Unbreakable. I struggled a little bit with it. Then there was a sequel, wasn't there? Was it Glass or something? Mr. Harlequin, I always get the feeling that others take him far more seriously than he takes himself. I've actually heard in later years he's quite difficult to work with, quite unconstructive on sets, not particularly revealing of himself or helpful with crew. That's what I understand. Fifth Element is a good film. 12 Monkeys is excellent. He has done some good films. I kind of feel a little bit with him, a little bit like Sly Stallone. He's got more talent than just his action hero thing. Of course, Stallone did some serious roles. He wrote Rocky. He's quite a good writer, in fairness. I kind of feel like Willis has got more range than just action hero. Whilst I don't think someone like Schwarzenegger's got any range at all. Any other films you want to point out? Andy, you like your Willis. You suggested the round. Any films that you'd say, if you'd said, Willis is a great movie star, you need to watch these films, what would they be? 12 Monkeys and Sixth Sense, Shirley saying. A couple of good films mentioned. I should bring up his IMDb. I'll do that quickly, and then we'll go on to the next topic of discussion, and then we'll reveal the answers. So he's done so many films. The list is endless. Best ones probably in the 80s and 90s. Don't know that one. Once Upon a Time in Venice. Yeah, Death Becomes Her with Mel Streep and Goldie Hawn. Last Man Standing. I forgot that one. Die Hard with a Vengeance went bad. Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman. North, that was a bit of a stinker. Striking Distance. Turns up in The Player. Billy Bathgate with Dustin Hoffman. Bonfire of the Vanities. Forgot that one. Look Who's Talking. Loads of stuff. Bit about Bruce Willis. 2021. Hopefully the film studios won't postpone these release dates. They won't get moved back. There's lots of films that look to be scheduled for next year. Which ones take your fancy from 2021's next year releases? Are there any you're going to rush out to see if they're shown in cinemas next year? If it's safe to do so, what are your kind of recommendations? What are you looking out to see on next year's release dates? Andy saying, bit simpler, big Die Hard fan. I've not seen Die Hard 4. Any good? Bikey Chick loving Die Hard. Philip saying Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm glad you said that. My kids love Ghostbusters. I want to take them to it. I'm interested to see what they do with advancing the story. I'm interested to see how they use the old guys in Egon. Harold Ramis no longer with us. How are they going to do that? Minions 2, Bond, of course. Mr. Hollis is Quinn saying Top Gun Maverick. He killed a helicopter with a car. Yeah, I was chatting. My wife's a big Top Gun fan. I don't like Top Gun, to be honest, but that's just a personal preference. I struggle a little bit with Tom Cruise these days. I feel he just cruises along a bit. That's a bad tagline, isn't it? Cruises along. Kind of feel he's got a little bit more acting range than just this action stunt guy. He seems to just play all the time now. He's certainly got a lot of charisma. What other film releases? I did spot a few. Anyone else looking forward to some? We mentioned Ghostbusters Afterlife. I noticed Eddie Murphy's back. I think this time with Wesley Snipes in Coming to America 2, a long time from the original. That's like a 30-year age gap between them. The King's Man, I think a prequel to The King's Men. Dune, of course, Denis Villeneuve, sci-fi novel, was a David Lynch film. No Time to Die, we mentioned that. Bond. Quiet Place 2, which was postponed, the horror. Black Widow, which is that Marvel, I think. And a few of you mentioned Top Gun Maverick. Any more you want to throw into the mix for next year? We got so many coming out, just fingers crossed they will get release dates and they won't be postponed. We had a lot of postponements, didn't we, with Tenet, Wonder Woman, which is now released, Wonder Woman 1984. Okay, guys and girls, you ready with tonight's answers? Let's see how you got on. 50 questions as usual. Round number 1 was movie flops. The answer to number 1, the 2005 film, was Stealth. Stealth is the answer to 1. Never seen it. Stealth. Number 2, there was 2 points on offer. I wanted the name of the actor who plays the Lone Ranger in the film of the same name. It's Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer, answer 1. And for the second point is Johnny Depp, who plays Tonto. So Armie Hammer plays the Lone Ranger and Johnny Depp plays Tonto. Number 3, the comic book remake is Hellboy. So Hellboy is the box office flop. A remake, of course. Number 4, Sorcerer was a box office failure in 1977. It's a cracking film. And the director is William Friedkin. So William Friedkin, who did The Exorcist, The French Connection, Sorcerer, To Live and Die in LA, great director. Number 5, the Ang Lee film with Will Smith about a hitman who's facing a clone of himself is Gemini Man. Gemini Man, answer number 5. Number 6, the British writer, comedian and actor who plays Phileas Fogg in 2004's Around the World in 80 Days is Steve Coogan. Steve Coogan, the answer to that one. Number 7, the actor who plays the Green Lantern is Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, answer number 7. Number 8, there was 2 points on offer. I wanted the 2 American comedians who star in the box office flop Father's Day. It was released in 1997. The actors are Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. The late Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. Number 9, the Western from 1980. Michael Cimino directed it. It lost $135 million. It's Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate. Chris Christopherson and Christopher Walken. And lastly, number 10, the woman who plays the female pirate in 1995's Cutthroat Island is Gina Davis. I got a feeling her husband directed the film. Answer number 10 was Gina Davis. So that's all 10 answers to number 1, which was box office failures. Tricky round to start off with that one. There's some hard questions in there. If you tally up your scores, how did you get on with your box office failures. Did you fail at this round? Or did you come out better than the films on top of the box office? Did you get a good score? How did you fare? Susan saying, looking forward to Contagion 2. I didn't know they were doing a sequel. Bikey Chick did well. They got 11. Gail Bartlett saying an average 5. Not a bad score. It's a tricky round. Anyone else? Oh, Mr. Harlequin, we got a smug and non-flop 12 out of 12. A good score to start off. Hopefully you can keep that up. But we got 4 more rounds to go. Okay, answers for round number 2. Round number 2 was taglines, and I put not again. Here we go. Number 1, the tagline was 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude. It was Arachnophobia. Arachnophobia was the film from 1990. Number 2, the tagline or the strapline was, her life was in their hands. Now her toll is in the mail. That was terrible. That is from The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski, answer number 2. The year was 1998. Number 3, a Disney release from 1993, but this was the tagline. It was One Dream, 4 Jamaicans, 20 below zero. I know you all got this one. It's Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings, number 3. Number 4, Here They Grow Again. It's clever. Comedy sequel from 1990. It's Gremlins 2, the new batch. Gremlins 2, answer number 4. Number 5, I'm predicting you all got this one. An adventure 65 million years in the making. It's Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is answer number 5. I think number 6, probably most of you will get this one. Protecting the Earth from the Scum of the Universe. It's the box office smash, Men in Black. Men in Black from 1997. Number 7 now. The List is Life. The List is the clue. It's Schindler's List that won the Best Picture Oscar in 1993. Same year as Jurassic Park, same release. Steven Spielberg, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, Steven. Hope you're watching. Number 8. Science fiction classic from 84 was the clue. The thing that won't die in the nightmare that won't end. It's the Terminator. The Terminator. Number 9. It was a popular animation now made for the big screen. That was the clue. The strapline was, see our family and feel better about yours. The answer, The Simpsons movie. Simpsons movie. And 10 was a hard one. Postcards from the Edge is the answer. The strapline was having a wonderful time. Wish I were here. Answer, Postcards from the Edge. That's all 10. It was the taglines again. I do always enjoy doing this round. I do it quite consistently, this one. Tally up your scores. How did you get on with your taglines for this week? Straplines from films normally used as publicity, marketing, promotional material for film releases. You normally see them on the posters. Bikey Chick, an excellent 8. Mr. Harlequin, a very good 9 out of 10. A point more, 1 point more. Gail Bartlett, a respectable 8. Respectable indeed, a good score. Well done. Anyone else? Susanna, 5. Not bad. What was round number 3? It was films about music, the next round. Get ready. Here are the answers. So it's 2 answers for the first question. The first part, I was looking for the actress who won the Oscar for her portrayal as Johnny Cash's wife, June Carter, in Walk the Line? It was Reese Witherspoon. And the actor that played Johnny Cash was Joaquin Phoenix. So Reese Witherspoon and Joaquin Phoenix are the answers. Number 2, I was looking for a record label, a famous one. I mentioned it's one of my favourite. So who was on the label? We had Etta James was on the label, Chuck Berry was on the label, Bo Diddley was on the label, Muddy Waters was on the label. The label is Chess Records. That's the focus for the film Cadillac Records, and it was owned and founded by brothers Leonard and Phil Chess. Chess Records from Chicago. Chess Records, home of the blues, soul, gospel, and early rock and roll. Number 3, the answer is Whiplash. Whiplash, a film about a promising drummer involved with a cutthroat instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential. So Whiplash. Number 4 was a tricky one. It was the title for the Nick Cave 2014 documentary. It's 20,000 Days on Earth. 20,000 Days on Earth. It's the number of days he'd been on planet Earth. Strange title. Number 6, the film was Little Voice. Little Voice, starring Jane Horrocks, Michael Caine, terrible impression, Ewan McGregor and Brenda Blethyn. So answer number 5 is Little Voice. Bikey Chick, loving Nick Cave. Got a feeling he lives in the UK, doesn't he? He's Australian. I think he lives in somewhere like Brighton. Am I right? Number 6, who is the central focus in D.A. Penbaker's documentary of 1967, Don't Look Back? It's Bob Dylan, the famous Bob Dylan. Great singer-songwriter. 7 was a tricky one. It was an unreleased and controversial Rolling Stones documentary from 1972. It's about their North American tour. Loads of shenanigans going on. It's called Cocksucker Blues. So number 7 is Cocksucker Blues. Number 8 now, famous festival from 1969, documented in an Oscar-winning 1970 documentary feature. The answer is Woodstock. Famous performances from Joan Baez, The Who, and Jimi Hendrix. So it's Woodstock. Answer number 9 was Ian Curtis. He was the late frontman of Joy Division, who's tragically died very young. He's the focus for the film Control. So Ian Curtis. And the last one, I asked you to tell me, Forrest Whitaker plays a troubled jazz saxophonist in a Clint Eastwood film called Bird from 1988. But who is the famous jazz saxophonist? It's Charlie Parker. So Charlie Parker is the final answer. How did you get on with this round? Films about musicians and music. Yeah, Bikey Chick telling me it is Brighton. Thanks for that. Did a song, didn't he, with Kylie Minogue? Can't remember the name of it. Bikey Chick did really well. A 10. Excellent score. Really good. How did everyone else fare on your music? 2 more rounds to go. Round 4 was food and drink. Famous scenes featuring food and drink. Susan did well, 7. Mr. Harlequin did well with an 8. Doing well tonight. Bikey Chick and Mr. Harlequin doing really well. Gail got a 6. Good score. Here's the answers for round number 4 now. Here we go. Food and drink. So the overcooked steak, which ignites boxer Jake LaMotta, that is Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull. I bet most of you got that one. Raging Bull. Number 2 was the lobster. The calamitous attempt to boil a lobster is Annie Hall. Woody Allen, Diane Keaton famous scene is from Annie Hall. Number 3, I said, was from one of my favorite films, The Cake, for topped with whipped cream and cherry for sexual favors. It's from Once Upon a Time in America. Once Upon a Time in America. Number 4, the $5 shake is from Pulp Fiction, chosen by Mia Wallace. I bet you all got that one. Pulp Fiction. Number 5 was 50 hard-boiled eggs eaten in 1 hour by a topless convict. Well, the actor that played the topless convict was Paul Newman, but the film was Cool Hand Luke. So Cool Hand Luke. Number 6 was a tricky one. The villainous sister who serves her wheel-bound sister a rat for lunch. It's Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, the answer. So number 6, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Number 7 was tackling the old 96er, 96-ounce primed age beef steak. It's from The Great Outdoors. The Great Outdoors, answer number 7. Number 8, I bet you all got this one. It was Rocky, drinking the 5 raw eggs from a glass at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's Rocky, sliced alone. Number 9, a hard one. The Parkers are left to take their dinner in an empty Chinese restaurant in this festive movie from 1983. The film I mentioned last week is A Christmas Story. So answer number 9, A Christmas Story. And lastly, number 10, The Gruesome Feast of Snakes, Monkey Brains and Eyeball Soup from an adventure movie from 1984. It was the birthday boy again, Steven Spielberg. It's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the final answer for food and drink. How did you get on with this round? It was a little bit different, I thought. I quite enjoyed coming up with these in the week. On Sunday, I wrote these. How did you get on? Bikey Chicken 9, excellent score. Well done. Anyone else fare well on this round? Did you like this round or not so keen? Not sure if this was a recommendation or this. I think this one might have been one I came up with. Gail liking this one. 7 is a really good score. Enjoyed the round, which is good. Mr. Harlequin doing well. And Amanda with a 9. Suzanne, 7 again. It's a good score. So Bruce Willis was the final round, which Andy Rouse asked for. Here are the answers. Number 1, it's John McClane is the character he plays in the Die Hard films. John McClane. I think they're doing another Die Hard film as we speak, or soon. Number 2, the director who said he'd never work with Willis again, had a terrible experience with him on the film Cop Out. It was Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith. Number 3, the answer is Blind Date. Blind Date is the 1987 romantic comedy where Willis co-stars alongside the beautiful Kim Basinger. Number 4, he won a Golden Globe for his performance in which 1987 TV drama? It was Moonlighting. Moonlighting, the answer for number 4. Number 5, 2 answers to this one. Willis was married to which popular Hollywood actress from 1987 to 2000? I bet you all got this one. It was Demi Moore. And the actress he's currently married, the model he's currently married to is a lady called Emma Hemming, which I wouldn't know. Emma Hemming. So Demi Moore, his first wife, and his current wife is Emma Hemming, a model. Number 6, the box office flop, starred Willis in 1991. It was Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk. Number 7, who plays his co-star in The Last Boy Scout? It's Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans, answer for number 7. Number 8, I was looking for the director. It's the director of the sci-fi film 12 Monkeys. It's a director I really like. It's Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam. And number 9, the British actor who plays the baddie, the villain, the evil Zorg in Luc Besson's The Fifth Element. We did a round last week. It's the great Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, answer number 9. And the last one was the year. Which year was The Sixth Sense released? It's a long time ago now. It was 1999. 1999 is the final answer. Question 50. How did you get on with the round? How did you get on overall with tonight's quiz? If you tally up your scores, we'll see how you did, and I'll announce your final scores. Well done, everyone. Thanks for taking part. Shirley saying, how about we do a round of 10 questions and you can pick one to do? Explain. I don't quite get that. Bikey Chick and 11. Good score again. Solid score for the final round. Likes of Bruce Willis, which is good. How did everyone else do with this one? We had an 11 so far. 2 less, a 9 out of 11. Again, a quality score for the final round. 5 Andy on his specialist subject. It's not too bad. Gail an 8. And Suzanne Chilcott 10. The best round tonight. Good score from Mr. Harlequin. A 47 total is very high. I got a feeling Bikey Chick is quite close to that. 34 is not a bad score. Gail doing really well. I think Gail said she was in Bedminster. 49 is very good. Excellent score tonight from Bikey Chick. So Mr. Harlequin, they're based in London. I'm not sure where Bikey Chick's from. We got Gail from my neck of the wood in our same town in Bristol. Susan is using Google. Not sure where Andy's from. You're in the UK as well, aren't you? Bristolish. Dundry, yeah. If I look out my kitchen, I can see Dundry. I can see the church on the hill. Literally, if I look out the window, I can see the church on the hill. There's a nice pub there, the Dundry Arms. I see. Andy's mother-in-law is Suzanne. So some good scores this evening. How did everyone fare with tonight's quiz? Do you enjoy it or not so keen on this week? I was going to finish off by, obviously, it'd be Christmas Day if we did next Friday. Your Town was on TV this afternoon. Yeah, it was indeed. That's interesting. Yeah, 5:30. It's talking about the post office. Yeah, there was a program. I can't remember the name of the program. They went into the post office in the village, bought some groceries, and they did a cooking competition. Yeah, you got it. That's our local post office. It's literally a 5-minute walk. I use it all the time for me eBay sales. The good lads, in fairness. Yeah, so obviously it falls on Christmas Day. I've got my mum round, so it's going to be difficult, and with my little one staying up a bit later. So my suggestion was, instead of doing the Friday, how about a Boxing Day quiz? How do you fancy a Boxing Day quiz? So it'd be on the 26th. I've never been a big fan of Boxing Day. I'm always bored on Boxing Days. I got to be honest. I prefer Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I still prefer Christmas Eve, I think. Would everybody fancy a Boxing Day quiz then? Maybe the same time, 8:30. What are you thinking? Family Zoom in. So Shirley saying we submit a round of our own 10 questions and you can pick the best one. That's a good idea. Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll say, anyone suggest any dates? Do you want a quiz next week, or shall I have a break next week and bring it back the Friday after? What would the date be the Friday after? Need a calendar. Got one on my phone. A calendar. The Friday after would be New Year's Day, isn't it? Could bring one back. Is it New Year's Day? Yeah, New Year's Day. I could do it on the 1st. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll have a break next week. Maybe have no quiz next week. And we'll do the next quiz. We'll have a Christmas break and we'll do the first quiz the first day of the new year. That maybe sounds a better plan. Might get some more participants then, perhaps. And any suggestions? So next quiz, we won't do one next week. The next one would be the week after. We'll do it on the 1st of January, 2021. Be a Friday night. Is that right? Yeah. So 1st of Jan, the next one. Any suggestions? What would you like to see? Lockdown hangover, New Year's Day. Yeah. I better be careful. So yeah, any suggestions for rounds? Maybe a theme? Alan Rickman's a good one. Yeah, we can do that. I like that. We've not done a round on him. Any other suggestions? Maybe a theme? What would you like to see? See if we get any suggestions. Well, as you're doing that, I'll love you and leave you. Wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your support. Tuning in every week. Always enjoy it. It's always a highlight of my week doing the quiz. It's always good fun. People are very nice. So yeah, thanks every week for your support. Thanks for participating. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's not getting boring doing the same old every week. But yeah, thank you all. I'll put my Christmas hat on. Look bad in it. I nearly covered up my eyes. Oh, crikey. Look like Papa Smurf. Right. So, yeah, we'll slate this one. Hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a new year. Keep watching movies and let me know what your recommendations are. I'm always keen to watch new films and see what's going on. I always love watching new film. But yeah, I'll see you on the 1st of January, the first day of the new year, 2021. Can it get any better than this one? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Happy Christmas. Good luck in the new year. Be interested to hear what your New Year's resolutions are. That'd be a nice one. But yeah, good night. Good luck. Happy Christmas. Over and out. The LA Cinema Quiz. Happy Christmas.